And you can see the circuit diagram of a static shear bus drive. A three-phase supply is taken and given to the stator winding of wound rotor induction motor. You can see here also the type of the motor is clearly specifying. Wound rotor induction motor, stator terminals are connected to the three-phase supply. And from the rotor terminals, rotor also containing three-phase distributed winding. So from the rotor terminals, three-phase supply is three phases are taken and given to the uncontrolled rectifier or a diode bridge rectifier here. This diode bridge rectifier converts the energy, wastage energy, into a DC value because this is a rectifier. So across these terminals of the rectifier, we will get the DC value or a DC voltage, which is VD1. And this DC value is given or flown through a large inductance, which is LD. This large inductance generally stabilizes or eliminates the ripple that were present in the DC that is produced here. And a full controlled converter, three-phase full controlled converter is taken in order to operate in the inversion mode. Inversion mode, which means alpha greater than 90 degrees. Then we will operate a full controlled converter in the inversion mode. Right? So in the inversion mode, we need to operate this full controlled converter. And the input voltage to this full controlled converter is VD2. Based on this VD2, the full controlled converter operates in the inversion mode, and which is given to a transformer with M:1 turns ratio. And this transformer helps the voltage to boost up to the balance this three-phase AC supply. That means, see, in the rotor part, we will have a less value of wastage energy. Less amount of energy is wasted on the rotor part. So the generated voltage across this inverter will be very low. This voltage across this inverter is very low. This voltage has to be boosted to match the three-phase AC supply. So a M:1 transformer is used here to boost up this low voltage. And this voltage is given to three-phase supply. That means the wastage of power is recycled to the three-phase supply. This is the generalized operation of a static shear bus drive. It provides the speed control of wound rotor induction motor generally below the synchronous speed. Below the synchronous speed only we can use this static shear bus drive. You can see the portion of rotor of induction, the portion of rotor AC power is converted into the DC because of this diode bridge rectifier. And this controlled inverter is used to convert this DC again back to the AC here. So here we will get a three-phase AC. And the power feedback, which is PR. This PR is also known as a feedback power, can be controlled. This PR can be controlled by controlling the inverter. And this inverter can be controlled by changing the firing angles, which is given to this inverter. And this is the large inductance which is used to eliminate the ripples in the DC current. Right? And this entire power is known as a slip power. And this slip power is feeding back to the source with this connection. Unlike in the rotor resistance control, because in the rotor resistance control, the power is wasted in the resistor. So there the efficiency is low. Here the wastage power is converting and which is given back to the source. That means we are saving the power, which improves the efficiency. That means this scheme produces or gives higher efficiencies when compared with the rotor resistance control. And similarly, when we compare with the stator voltage control or stator frequency control also, there also we don't have any recovery schemes. So when compared with the stator control also, the recovery schemes, which is static shear bus drive or common drive, will produce higher efficiencies. So rotor control of induction motor will produce higher efficiencies when compared with the stator control also. And you can see this the circuit diagram. The power difference between the input power is the difference between motor input power and the feedback power. This is only for active power. But however, if we consider the reactive power output will be the summation of motor power and the inverter reactive power. So that means the active power is decreasing because the difference between the active powers, but the reactive power is increasing because the summation. So active power is decreasing and reactive power is increasing. That means the input power factor of the supply will get down. That means we will have a poor power factor across the input terminals throughout the operation of a static shear bus drive. This is the major disadvantage of this drive. Efficiencies are higher, but we will get the poor power factor. And with the help of basics that we used, we will get the VD1, which is the output voltage across this diode bridge rectifier. We can write with the help of basics, we can write the V1 as 3√6 by pi into S into V, where S is the slip, V is the input voltage, and N is the number of turns. N is the number of turns of stator to rotor of the induction motor. And VD2, which is given as input of, that means the energy which is, sorry, the voltage which can be obtained because of this inverter operation, which is a three-phase full controlled converter. So we know the average value of a three-phase full controlled converter, which is 3 into √6. Generally, this is a 3√3 by pi into Vm. Instead of Vm, we have written here Vrms into √2. This √2 and √3 is multiplied. So 3 into √6 by pi into V by M. See, this M represents the transformer turns ratio. Look at here. M represents the transformer turns ratio, where N represents the turns ratio between stator to rotor. This is the difference between N and M. Both are turns ratios, but N defines the turns ratio between stator to rotor of the induction motor, but M defines the turns ratio between transformer. So equation 714 and equation 714 represents the voltages of uncontrolled rectifier as well as the inverter. And according to the voltage balance principle, VD1 and VD2 must be equal to 0, because rectifier voltage and inverter voltage, the summation of these two must be equal to 0. And substitute VD1 and VD2 values here and simplify, you will get this slip equation, which is S is equal to minus N by M cos alpha. N by M can also be written as A, which is a constant value, because N is the turns ratio of induction motor, M is the turns ratio of transformer. So if this turns ratio N and M if both are equal, then slip will be minus cos alpha simply. So the maximum value of alpha is restricted to 165 degrees only. Generally, we can vary the alpha up to 180 degrees, but it is restricted to 165 degrees. Generally, we can vary up to 180 degrees, but it is restricted to 165 degrees only for the safe commutation of inverter thyristors. So up to 165 degrees only we can operate the alpha for safe commutation. And the slip can be controlled from 0 to 0.966. At 165 degrees, we will get 0.966 is the value. So the slip value can be changed from 0 to 0.966 for different alpha values. Because the slip, you can see from this formula, the slip is directly proportional to cos alpha. If this turns ratio is constant, that means n and m are both are equal, then a will become 1, so slip will become cos alpha. So that means the slip can vary from 0 to 0.966. And this is for the duration of alpha in the inversion operation. Inversion operation can be achieved from 90 degrees to 180 degrees, but we are not operating alpha up to 180 degrees due to the safe commutation process. So we can operate the alpha from 90 to 165 degrees only. So the slip can be varied from 0 to 0.966 for this alpha angle. And the transformer which is used to match the voltages VD1 and VD2 here. And at the low speeds, the VD1 maximum value can be written as this one. Here S max is the maximum value of the slip that can be achieved at very low speeds. In the previous class also we have derived S max equation in the torque equation. So S max means when the speed is very, very low. So equation 718 represents the VD1 equation at low speeds, or if we have S max value. And if the alpha is restricted to 165, then if we substitute alpha value as 165 and VD1 as S max, then VD1 plus VD2 equal to 0. Using that equation, substitute those two here and simplify, and you will get the number of turns of the transformer M is equal to minus of 0.966, which is cos 65 value, into N by S max, where N is the turns ratio of the induction motor and S max is the maximum slip that is available at the point of starting condition. So with this expression, we can determine the number of turns of the transformer. So such a choice of M ensures the inverter operation at the highest firing angle at the lowest motor speed, which gives the highest power factor also. That means the reactive power for this particular operation, the reactive power will also goes down. That means the power factor can be improved by making this M particularly according to the choice of selection. And you can see the torque speed characteristics of this particular operation. So from alpha is equal to 90, so this will be the torque speed. And redraw it again. So you can extend this line like this. This is for alpha 90. And if the alpha values keep on increasing, the torque speed characteristics will become like this. So they'll come like this. So these are the torque speed characteristics, and the alpha is increasing from 90 to 165 degrees because this is our operating range. And the speed is from 0 to synchronous speed only. So only a few, that means a few applications where the synchronous below the, where the applications require the operation of induction motor below its synchronous speed. In those applications only we can develop this static shear bus drive in order to recover that slip power. And also where the speed range is very narrow, that means like the minimum speed is 1300 and the maximum speed is 1500. You can observe the speed range, the difference between this speed range is very narrow, which is around 200 RPM. So where the applications less speed range, narrow speed range in those applications like fans, pumps, blowers, those type of industrial applications, we can develop this static shear bus drive. And coming to its power specifications, in the medium and high power applications we can use, which is up to 10 megawatt, which is up to 10 megawatt, we can use this static shear bus drive, particularly for medium and high power applications, generally fan and pump applications, right? So for medium and high power fan and pump applications, we can use this slip power recovery scheme, which produces higher efficiency and also low cost. Okay. Thank you.